Alright guys, hello. My name is Matthew Bowen, and today for this I'm joined by my mother, Rhonda.
Hello everyone.
My father, John.
Hey, how you doing?
And my brother James is behind the camera, so he can catch this visual aid as well, so say hello.
Hello.
Alright, and today my specific purpose is to inform my audience on the growth and methods of cybercrime, as well as provide a couple things that you can do to make yourself a little bit more secure in 2018. Alright. So, according to Munich Re, which is one of the largest reinsurance firms in the world, 80% of people have their network at home connected to the internet in some way. And of that 80% of the people, 1 in 10 of those are likely to fall victim to cybercrime during their time on the internet. And whenever you hear that, it might scare you and think that you need to be some sort of expert in cybersecurity to understand all this, and that's not exactly true. Speaking from someone that's been studying this for a long time, I can say with certainty that it's actually easier than you think, and there's some low-tech methods that you can do to actually make yourself a lot more secure in 2018. Because we live in 2018, and knowing how much technology is going on in the world around us and how reliant we are, it's not really an excuse to not know anymore. I mean, you could probably say that 5 years ago and be alright, but this day and time, no. And I feel like it's important that before we understand how to make ourselves safer, we understand the why. Because I always like knowing, and as well as I feel like everyone else should know. And statistics show across the board the financial impact as well as the number of daily occurrences of this type of stuff we have to deal with. According to McAfee and the Center for Strategic and International Studies, the cost of cybercrime has grown from $500 billion to $600 billion from 2014 to 2018. Which $100 billion is a lot of money, obviously. So that should speak for itself. As well as the cybercrime growth being that the number of daily instances in thousands of new malware is up to 300,000 new malware per day, 33,000 phishing incidents per day, as well as 4,000 ransomware attacks every day. So now we have an idea as to why this is an issue. We can look into a couple of the common threats that we've mentioned here. We mentioned new malware as well as phishing, and there's a lot of other vulnerabilities as well, but these are the simplest ones that I can put into a short amount of time. So we're just going to look at these. And for instance, new malware. Whenever you hear malware, you might not know what it is by name, but it's basically a computer virus, computer worm, that type of thing. Stuff that'll do bad stuff to your computer if you get it caught. And phishing in itself is whenever you get like the spam emails, that type of thing, bad email attachments, all that sort of situation. And what makes us particularly vulnerable to these is the fact that they're not always directed. A lot of times it's generalized and everyone ends up having to deal with this at some point or another. And the fact that everyone can recognize these probably just from their names makes it to where it's one of our biggest issues. And that's just a couple of the larger threats. Now that we know about what they are, you probably already knew what they are, but now that we know a little bit more about it, we can talk about ways to avoid these threats. And the FBI actually came up with a list of things that you can do to make yourself more secure from these type of threats. And including keeping your PC updated. I know a lot of people don't like to do that because it makes their PC turn off and, unusable for a certain amount of time, but knowing how fast technology moves this day and how many instances of this we're having to deal with, it's probably imperative to have all these patches work. So that's just one thing. Another thing that I think would be common sense, don't go to sketchy looking websites, as well as don't open email attachments that look kind of sketchy as well. Your IRS isn't going to send you an email asking for your financial information, okay? They'll probably send you a letter in the actual mail. So don't give your personal information out online as well. And another thing is basically turning your PC off. They can't access it if it's turned off. So that's probably the best thing you can do. And as long as this is on the topic, we can talk about how whenever you have your computer in public places, it's generally a good idea to only use public Wi-Fi if you have to. There's a whole bunch of stuff that could get into. That's just something I wanted to add, but just generally speaking, don't use it unless you have to, as well as keeping your Wi-Fi turned off whenever you're out and about. And that being said, you now have an idea of why cybercrime is a very real threat, and that a few simple things you can do can make yourself infinitely more secure than somebody that doesn't do these things, okay? I hope everybody's learned something from about how technology, while complicated at times, is good, and there's a lot more to learn in this area if you find yourself interested in it. And if you are, I implore you to go after it and take a look and see what's going on, alright? Thanks for listening, and good day. That's it.